have rock trucks and gravel on the roads that damage our cars, that break our windshields. And if you're like me, you have had your car damaged by this. And it could be that you're driving along and then you start to hear like just little pitter patters on your windshield, right? Just these little noises, and you're like, oh man, up ahead there is some gravel. And sure enough, up ahead you see the truck, or maybe trucks, multiple trucks. And sometimes there's one trailer, sometimes two. Sometimes it's just a 3-axle truck. But you quickly discover where that noise is coming from, and you quickly realize your car is being damaged. Well, the other day this happened to me, and I actually dropped back. I don't want to get my car damaged, and so I dropped back. And you know what happened when I dropped back? 2 gravel trucks passed me on the road. So it's like, I can't get away from these trucks who are causing damage to my car. And it's a big source of frustration for me. And you get a brand new windshield and you look at it a month or two later and you can see the damage that's already starting to happen to your windshield. Just those little taps in your windshield, those are all damaging your windshield, whether you know it or not. And then, of course, the ultimate damage is, bam, your windshield is cracked. A big rock hits your windshield. It just happened to me the other day where I just heard this bam on my windshield. And I'm almost like, it just scared me to death. I'm driving and I was like, what in the heck was that? And I realized, I see a truck up ahead in the distance. Can't really tell if my windshield's damaged because I don't see any obvious crack. And so I keep driving. And then later on, I look at my windshield and I see a little star at the bottom of the windshield, By then, that truck is gone, and I'm like, darn it, I have some more damage to my windshield. And so there are things you can do about that, and I've written a blog about this before because this is a pet peeve. We don't specialize in my office in rock chip repair. We don't. I just talk about it because it is a pet peeve, and I wanted to sort of share my experience in dealing with this in the past, and maybe this will be useful for you. But there's a lot of construction going on. If you don't have to live in Utah very long to see that it's a construction boom time. There's a lot of gravel trucks on the road. There's a lot of construction projects going on, and you just see them on the road. They're on the road. They're in the slow lane. They're in the fast lane. They're in the commuter lane. Gravel trucks everywhere. And yes, we have to keep our eyes open for this. And yes, we want to avoid them if we can, so we can prevent damage to our cars. You may have seen signs on the back of trucks, not responsible for damage to your windshield. Stay back 200 feet. You may have seen that. That's a common sign on the back of a lot of these trucks. And so people looking at that say, darn it, I guess I can't make a claim. My windshield's cracked, but darn it, I guess I can't make a claim. Well, you can. That's the good news. And there are rules that govern this. And there's a statute actually in Utah that governs this. And there's been a big push in Utah about covering your loads, about securing your loads. It could be in the back of a pickup truck. It could be a mattress tied to the top of your roof that's fallen off and landing on the highway, making the roads unsafe. So there is a law actually that talks about this. And the law also covers uncovered loads in the form of a gravel truck. And the gravel doesn't have to come from on top of the truck. And you probably have seen gravel coming from the bottom of a truck. Maybe it's a belly dump truck, the gravel is dripping out. Or maybe it's the back tailgate area, it's sort of dripping out of the back there. There are lots of ways gravel could come out of a truck. It could come out of a pickup truck. Maybe you're behind some other type of construction equipment, and that truck, that trailer hits a bump, and then you see this gravel sort of float off the back of it into the roadway and sort of bouncing around. So there's lots of ways that gravel can come off that truck, off that trailer, and get into the road. But the rule in Utah is that if it's a commercial truck, they are supposed to cover their loads. There are certain requirements for gravel trucks to cover their loads. And if they don't cover their loads, then the load has to be low enough so that it's below the lip of the trailer that is containing that gravel product. So if you are seeing a truck out there or a trailer and the gravel is sort of like in a little mountain on top of the back of the truck and there's no cover in it, then that person is probably breaking the law. There are penalties for people, for commercial vehicles, companies that break the law. $500 is the first fine for the first violation, and it goes up to $1,000 for subsequent violations. But of course, we don't want to even be involved with that. We don't want our cars being damaged. And so what do you do if you see something like this on the road? Well, there's a number of things that you can do. One of the things that you can do and maybe should do is report the truck. If you see an unsafe truck on the road that's dropping its load in the form of gravel, pea gravel, maybe little rocks, you can call the Department of Transportation and report the violation. I would go so far as to say that you can call 911 and report that. It's a danger to people on the road, and there's nothing wrong with reporting an unsafe vehicle on the road. Just like you would report a drunk driver swerving around, you can report an unsafe truck, trailer on the road. And it could be also an unsecured load. As long as we're talking about unsecured loads, it could be a mattress about to fall off a car. You've seen those mattresses, they're tilting up as someone's going down the road. That's something that you can report as well. So if you report it, it's more likely that a UHP officer or maybe someone on a state road will get out there and will investigate this and hopefully, take care of the situation. But what if your windshield is damaged and you're upset and it's going to be probably a few $100s to repair? What is your remedy in that situation? And first thing I would say is don't give up. If you saw a sign in the back of that truck that says not responsible for damaged windshields, I would just say ignore it. If you were keeping a safe distance and you were doing your part to be a safe driver, I still say you can make a claim for the damage that happened. And so what you need to do is basically document the scene. You need to get all the information that you can get so that you can make and start your claim. And so you need to first find out, look at your watch. What time is it? Of course, the day of the week. Note the location of where this happened. What mile marker are you near? If you don't know the mile marker, are you near a restaurant, an off-ramp? Identify where you are on the road. Then get identifying information off of the truck. It could be the license plate on the truck. Every commercial vehicle has what's called a DOT number, and that should be on the cab of the truck. You can get the name of the company off the truck. And just today, on the way to the studio, I passed a truck, Savage Trucking Company. And even in the streets of downtown Salt Lake, there are gravel trucks. I told you they're everywhere. So I passed one on the way here, and you can tell it's a gravel truck. You can see the bottom part where the gravel comes out. But I get the name of the truck, the company that it's identified with. Make sure you keep a careful note of that. Write that down. And if you can, this is where a dash cam comes in handy. Maybe get a picture if you can do it safely to identify the truck, and maybe a picture of the DOT on the cab. And of course, if you do get your windshield repaired, you want to get your receipts from the repair, a picture of the damage to it, and then make a claim. Make a claim against the company who operates that truck. And do it in writing. Get the contact information, make the claim in writing, and I bet you they will deny your claim the first time. Happened to me. I made a claim against a trucking company, and they said, sorry, we're going to deny it. We're not responsible for rock chips. We put a sign on our truck, blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to file my claim in small claims court and let the judge decide. And everyone, you can let the judge decide. If you feel like you're in the right, you did nothing wrong, let the judge decide. Take your claim to small claims court and let a judge decide. Bring your evidence, though. Bring your pictures, bring your repair bill, bring your identifying information, and show up and present your case in small claims court. So when I presented my case, they had no response to it, and the judge granted my claim. And so you will get your filing fee given back to you. You will get your service fee. You will get the cost of your windshield. Or maybe it's damage to your car, to your paint job as well. So don't sleep on your rights. Make sure you make those claims if you've been wronged this way. Don't let these trucking companies get away with damaging cars on the highway and not having to pay the price for it.